Now, top officials of the Advertising Regulatory Council of Nigeria, ARCON, have been suspended and their unit disbanded following the all eyes on the judiciary billboards, which surfaced in Abuja and a few other states. The director and deputy director of the Advertising Standards Panel of the Council were suspended to enable a supposed prejudiced investigation of the issue. That's what Olaleko Fadolapo, the Director General, said in a statement. He noted that the officials failed to diligently exercise their gatekeeping function. Now, still with us to actually talk about this, joining us virtually as well, is Eze Luce and Olayinka Daniels. All right, gentlemen, I'm sure you heard the intro for the second segment of the conversation on VOP this morning. Now, it garnered quite a lot of reaction from several quarters when the whole all eyes on the judiciary billboard was brought down. The Advertising Regulatory Council of Nigeria said that it was possible that that particular billboard was oppressing, inciting violence, and literally almost feels like is a state of pressure on how the judiciary will need to go on in terms of giving a conclusion on the election petition tribunal panel. Now, the Advertising Standards Panel said that they did not approve the exposed concepts. Hence, the council directed that all the exposed materials be brought down immediately and the violators sanctioned. And of course, they also said that this particular billboard or caption comes amid anxiety as Nigerians await the judgment of the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal. What's your take on that? Why this particular, would I say, advert? Why? What is it? What significance is this to the Advertising Regulatory Council of Nigeria?
Okay. Do I look at?
Yes, perhaps it's to you. Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. The how will I put it? The clampdown on a very innocuous advert by ARCON is to send shockers to Nigerians. It should give us an idea of what will come if we do not begin to oppose.
Barrister Eze, can you turn your camera? Can you turn your camera because it seems upside down?
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Please continue.
Is it okay now?
It should be. Go ahead.
Okay. So the clampdown by ARCON on a very innocuous advert.
Sorry, turn it vertical. Is turn it horizontal, not vertical.
Okay, I wouldn't. Maybe you go ahead. Let me try and do that.
Okay. See. All right, Mr. Olayinka Daniels, you can proceed to answer the question.
All right. For me, when I saw that, I felt so terrible, felt so disappointing for that to even happen at all. I was in a forum of lawyers, and a lawyer posted, there was a time that the social media sharing pictures of some of the judges, saying that these are the judges, people should mark their faces, they should do this, they should do that, and in case they deliver the wrong judgment. And in fact, I thought what the first thing was to tell this person to bring the post down, and else we will remove the person from the. And there was an outpour of people angry, and we had no choice but to pull such person down, pull the post down, and remove the person. Before plea came and we reacted. And I'm like, look, when did we get here? Yes, we know judiciary is not a cult, but this is an honorable sections. I mean, honorable.
We're talking about that particular aspect of the billboard. I need to read out what Fadolapo said. They actually suspended the director and the deputy director They said that particular billboard could actually instigate public unrest, and it's a breach of public peace. I don't know. That's basically what I need you to clarify. They also said that it's blackmailing the Nigerian judiciary and the honorable justices of the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal.
The instance I gave you, the scenario I gave you, is just the same thing with this. Because what that scenario could do is to instigate. But for instance, we know what has been happening. We know how God has helped us the tension, that we had be pre-election and post-election. Now, if we are seeing things like this, what do you think will happen? This could instigate, anarchy, violence, and all that, because before you know it, it starts trending. Before you know it, all eyes, if the same way they had put it up. And the judiciary, particularly the judges, are supposed to work without fear and trembling. So are you saying that if they come back, they finish their work and they come back with a particular ruling or judgment, whether it is favoring or is favoring, there should be an attack on the judiciary? Because an attack on the judge is an attack on the judiciary, on the system, entire system. So where is the independence of judiciary? Why don't you allow these people do their job? Whatever description or that on that billboard is enough to set the country on fire. I totally agree.
Okay, but Barrister Ezeluchi, I'm going to ask you this question.
Yeah.
Now, we already know how. Yes, we already know how.
Let me just respond to what my. Okay, go on. Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. We already know how some things are being done in this part of the world, where financial influences plays a major role when it comes to public offices like this. Do you think it's because of how the judiciary may be influenced financially, and the idea is to curtail the judges who will decide the conclusion at the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal, is to curtail them from having to be influenced with any monetary proposition? Do you think that is basically why you see this billboard being put up there to say, we're watching you, we're looking at you, and you make sure you make your judgment objectively?
Judiciary has always been the last hope of the common man. So when the people say all eyes on the judiciary, I don't know what is wrong with that statement. It's a very ethical and innocuous statement that we're all looking up onto the judiciary. I mean, when anybody reads any other thing into that statement, you now begin to wonder what is really at stake, what is really at foot. All eyes on the judiciary, that we are looking up to you, we're going to be watching you, we're going to hope that you deliver justice. Nothing is absolutely wrong with that. That is what judges are expected to do. And any judge who is going to be altruistic, knows he's going to go there and do his job, should not be bothered. Nobody who understands that what should be will be, that the justice will be dispensed, should be bothered by all eyes on the judiciary. It's like saying all eyes on our ministers. If not our ministers, are we going to look at the ministers in Ghana or in America? Are we going to look at the judiciary in Togo or in Cameroon? All eyes are on the judiciary. And I will urge Nigerians, whoever is scared about that billboard, to the extent of sacking or suspending people in the APCON, should be ashamed of itself. Nigeria should now take that logo or that mantra, print it in stickers, print it on T-shirt. Just walk around our streets with the logo, all eyes on the judiciary. Let us now see if those same characters who pull down the billboard will begin to tear off our shirts or break our windscreens when we say all eyes on the judiciary. We should not let our eyes off the judiciary. In fact, if we have 4 eyes, let it all be on the judiciary so that they will sit up and do what they should do. And what has motivated this all eyes on the judiciary? If you look at some 10 years ago, when the same Bola Tinubu was head of the ACN, I believe, one of his own political party, there was this rumor that, or the belief, the perception that the then president of the Court of Appeal, who was believed to be in cohort with Bola Tinubu, had influenced the gubernatorial tribunal judgments in about 3 southwestern states, including Edo State. And because of the fear of that people don't want a similar thing to happen, they're now saying all eyes on the judiciary. Why shouldn't all eyes be on the judiciary at this very critical moment? Should our eyes be on the moon or on the skies? Nigerians, go out there, have all your eyes, all your ears on the judiciary, because mistakes they make now will cost us dearly. And yes, any judge who judges, who adjudicates justice the way he should, without fear of favor, should not have any fear of what will happen thereafter, because to his conscience he's done what he should do. But let any judge who takes whatever, who does things unaltruistically, know that not just the eyes of Nigerians, in fact, posterity, history, Africans will all be looking out. My dear, it's not just the eyes of Nigerians that are on the issue. The entire international community, all Africans. Take a sample of the political opinion across Africa. They are saying they want to see what the Nigerian judicial system will do, what will become the judgment of this court in the face of the abundant evidence, the abundant constitutional transgressions that are taking place. All eyes must be on the judiciary, please.
All right, so let me come to you now, Barrister Olayinka Ola.
Daniel.
Yes, thank you. Let me ask you, does this, whether or not there's a billboard that says all eyes on the judiciary, what does this, how intense is this that people had to be suspended? And now these people that were suspended are professionals. They vetted, the proposal when it came to them. They approved it because probably they didn't see anything wrong with it at the time. Now they have their jobs hanging in the balance. And what does that portend for freedom of expression going forward?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the question. You belong to an association, that's is it NCB or NC, that censor what happens at your media studio, things you cannot say, right? Things you cannot do, right?
NBC.
Push to the public. I'm correct?
Oh, yes.
And we come to your studios, we say things on air, and behind the studio, we say some things, right? And we say that this, we cannot say it in the public. This, we cannot push it out. How come? We can't push those things out. If we're talking about freedom of expression, and everything that comes out from our mouth is what is being sent out there. To some people that cannot think, to some people that do not understand what censor means, to some people, particularly to some generations, that they don't even understand why they follow the crowd. People are shouting, they are shouting. They don't even know the reason for the shout. We are talking about a nation. We're looking at what we've been through. We are looking at where we are going and what we should avoid. How come the sanction comes on your studio, on your outfit, when you make some errors that they expect that you should know better? The same thing applies to them. There are rules that are guiding all these people. So now, if they make such mistake, they should be sanctioned. Like I said, there are things I can say in the comfort of my bedroom that I cannot, particularly some of us, probably that influence people, the influencers and all that, or some of us that people, you have fans and people believe in you. You say one, tell you, I've been, and in fact, some of the reason why some of us kept quiet about voting and is because once we say we are going this way, people that don't even understand why you are going that way, they follow you because they believe so much in you. Now, the same thing applies to all these things on the billboard. When you put up such thing, nothing is wrong in saying all eyes are on judiciary. I can say that in my bedroom and all that. Look, all eyes on the legislative, all eyes on the executive and all that. But we are looking at a country where God has just saved us from we know what has happened. So we can't afford any slightest misrepresentation. Any slightest things that people will misunderstood and cause chaos, anarchy, and push things out there. We can't afford it. Because whatever we push now goes to the international world. Yes, nothing may be wrong with the capture. But the truth is, to what end? There's something we call necessity. There's something you cannot just do just because you want to avoid something. And that is what has happened. Someone needs to be sanctioned. If they should know better. You people can say you can't on billboard all over the nation. What are you passing across the world? What are you saying? What is the message you're passing across? That we don't even trust our judiciary. Even if you don't trust our judiciary, it's not every leader you watch out there. We know what we see. We are in practice. But will I come to the public and be vomiting? No. So some of these things, we need to see beyond what is wrong with it. We need to think outside the box. We will caution people as some of the steps they take. I think that wasn't warranted. There was no need for that scripture. There was no advertisement, and somebody should be sanctioned. But now sacking them, I do not know about that. But someone should be sanctioned for such. So that it's, you see, we are looking at it from administration, what has happened and all that. But really, we need to be objective. We should see beyond, somebody is the one in charge or some people. No. The judiciary, they've been doing their job before now. We've had instances, we have tribunals, election tribunal, we've had it severally for a number of years. There are people that, what happened, the last administration of Mr. Buhari, he went to court 3 times, thereabout. And nothing like this happened. Why? We know that we can't afford it at this moment. The country is in a sensitive age. We can't afford it.
Okay, let me just add what you just said now. You mentioned of Buhari's case. Buhari has never had any history of interfering with the judicial process. He has never. I mean, the 3 times he went to the court, he will lose and he will go back home. But we have a Bola Tinubu. There have been instances where his alleged interference with the former president of the Court of Appeal was seriously investigated. Cell phone records of communication between Body Lawn and the residents of the Court of Appeal president then was well interrogated, and it led to even the issue, the fact that the then president of the Court of Appeal refused getting a promotion to the Supreme Court, which is the dream of all judges, gave credence to that belief that something untoward had transpired between Bola Tinubu and the then president of the Court of Appeal. So you cannot relate this with what Buhari did in the past. So there is palpable fear, palpable belief that there might be interference with the judicial process. That is why perhaps people are beginning to say, let all eyes be on the judiciary. But by saying Nigerians should not think of that, thinking that though it may be innocuous, are you trying to say Nigerians have less reasoning capacity? In the United States, for instance, when they had a recent judgment regarding the one about abortion, there was countdown by days, by months, to the date the judgment was to be delivered. And the day the judgment was delivered, there was a crowd of both pros and cons at the venue of the Supreme Court when the judgment was delivered. Because when you over an issue that is of topical importance to the country, everyone involved and all eyes, I repeat, all eyes should be on the judiciary. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that statement. It only helps to maybe we have a robust system. Nigerians, go out there, have your all eyes, your ears and nose on the judiciary. If you hear anything untoward happening, any improper communication between any parties in matters, and when I say any parties, not just the APC, if there is any felt untoward communication between the Labour Party and the justices of the tribunal, or the PDP and the justices, or the APC and the justices, please reveal it. That is what that all eyes on the judiciary means. If you are a bank officer and you are operating the accounts of any of these judicial offices and you see any funny movements of cash, please reveal it. All eyes must be on the judiciary because they are now charged with a responsibility that will determine our lives and future for the next 4 years. We cannot afford to take our eyes off the ball. When you're in a football match and the ball is about to enter the 18, all eyes should be on the judiciary, please.
Barrister Eze, now let's quickly, in a minute, let's have your final thoughts.
My final thought is that all eyes, ears, nose, mouths, everybody should focus on the judiciary, ensure that we have justice. Once the judges are going to be fair and just, they should have nothing to fear. But by grace, we all of us, all Nigerians have everything to fear if anything untoward happens between to the justices. They
All
will
right.
we pray for their lives, they will live long, and they will judge accordingly and justly. Thank you very much.
All right then. Now coming to you, Barrister Olayinka Oladaniels. All eyes on you now. Let's have your final thoughts too.
My final thought on this: we should try in all ramification not to incite people against the judiciary, not to incite people against the nation, because that is the power arm of a nation. We should let the judges do their job without fear, or let them do their job. Whatever the result, we go by it. There's still, don't forget that there's Supreme Court there. So we should just let things go smoothly. Our country, we can't afford, we don't have any other country. We are underestimating what incitement can do. And we do not have another country. Yes, a lot of pain, but if we act based on our anger or based on our pain, a lot of things we may not even come back to have one Nigeria we are talking about today. And I do not want that to happen. I'm a patriot. I believe in one Nigeria. I believe in I believe in the progress of Nigeria, and that is to see anything that would disrupt democracy, anything that would disrupt the peaceful existence of our nation. I am totally against it.
All right then. Thank you very
We
much.
are all patriots, and we don't want Nigeria to be destroyed, and we will do
Thank you
anything that
very
will destroy
much,
Nigeria. We are against it.
Barrister Eze Eluchie and also Olayinka
But all I must do on the
Oladaniels,
judiciary.
legal practitioner. Thank you very much for coming on the program.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
All right then.
You're welcome.
Well, time for us to go into the world of business. And from the world of business, we have the continued shutdown of operations by Nigerian Liquefied Natural Gas Limited is a looming danger to the country's annual production of 22 million tons of gas. Last week, Tuesday, NLNG spokesman Andy Ode stated that the force majeure it declared in October 2022 due to widespread flooding that disrupted supplies continued. Now, force majeure refers to unexpected external circumstances that prevent a party to a contract from meeting obligations. Force majeure is a common clause in contracts which essentially frees both parties from liability or obligation when an extraordinary event or circumstance beyond the control of the parties, such as a war, strike, riot, crime, epidemic, or sudden legal change, prevents one or both parties from fulfilling their obligations under the contract. Now, he also added that it had continued to collaborate with customers to minimize the impact of the consequent gas supply shortage. Moving away from that business story to another business story now, we hear that the chairman of Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria, Lagos chapter, disclosed that the real estate sector is currently facing soaring inflation, creating a worrying trend and grave impact on the sector. Bamidele Onolaja noted this at a recently held press conference in Lagos State, where he called for the understanding of everyone. He appealed to all government agencies responsible for regulating the economy to work extra hard for the benefit of the common man, adding that shelter was one major factor that could not be done without all over the world. According to him, the cost of real estate development had skyrocketed following the symptoms of the nation's ailing economy. Onolaja noted that a recent survey on the prices of building materials showed how inflation had badly affected building materials. The publicity secretary of the Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria, Ololade Abuta, explained that the labor cost of hiring professionals for real estate development was equally on the rise. And that's what we have from the world of business. We'll take a break. And when we come back from that break, it will be entertainment and sports. Stay with us.